We have quite a few things to preview, all right, but first I want to just wrap up from an academic standpoint. Scholar Athletes of the Year, and I saw a couple of tweets recently in which it looked as if some more record-setting accomplishments in the classroom.
Yeah, again, I give credit to, first of all, our coaches for going out and recruiting quality young men and women, for them and their families to have generated the priorities of what they need to be here first and foremost for, and then getting it done, working with Kelly Brock and Ashley Kuhn and Monica Estes, and then late helping out Maggie Hone. We really had a great team working with our faculty on campus to produce, in the fall, our highest ever GPA. We had a 3.5 cumulative at the end of the spring semester. It was a 3.41. So I think the lowest GPA we had for any team now cumulatively is 3.12. So we always make it a benchmark to try to have every one of our teams above a 3.0. And this year, everybody not only did that, they did it to record heights. So we're really excited about that. And part of the year, one of the things we always want to do, and we had it in February, we have an academic honors luncheon. It's an opportunity to recognize the best of the best. Anybody who's been here that has a cumulative 3.5 grade point average for at least 2 semesters gets honored. We had to do it virtually this year because of the fact that we all couldn't get together in close quarters. And I also want to recognize our undergraduate advising unit that we work so closely with, and they were this year our special recognition award for that program. And with the E.A.G.L.E Scholar Athlete of the Year, which we always give at our Nesties, it's our big event at the end of the year to honor our seniors and give out a lot of specialty awards. In particular, the highlight always is to our most outstanding senior who exhibits both athletic, academic, and leadership capabilities. We had a tie this year. Kayla Whetstone, who I talked about briefly earlier, being our star record setter for our beach volleyball team, and Maya Ornberg. Maya's been the ASUN Player of the Year for women's tennis. She's helped lead our team to a couple conference championships and in a position where she'll go down certainly right now as the best player to ever play for our women's team. So those 2 ladies join a great group of predecessors with that particular award.
Mentioned some people to thank and some things to look forward to. Money is always an issue in college athletics. In a pandemic year, I can only imagine. And yet, you guys still had to continue business as normal as best you could, and also, once again, some individuals have really stepped up to help.
Well, we are so fortunate as we go into our 25th year as an institution. 20th year of athletics was this past year. Many of our teams haven't turned 20, they will this year. It's something we don't take anything for granted in the fact that our average traditional alum's about 45 and our average alum's about 33. That's not a very large population of individuals to write checks and big checks. The Southwest Florida community and people beyond continue to do a wonderful job of taking care of us with their donations and with their time, talent, and treasury. Certainly amongst the individuals that we look at is Doc Ryan and our E.A.G.L.E Club Advisory Board, the amount of work that they do and getting others involved, whether it's usually it's our night at the Nest. This year we did a virtual auction. We called it the Sustaining Flight Initiative, and we were hoping to raise $200 to $250. We had raised $675 a year ago for our most recent night at the Nest, and I think we raised $450,000 just for a virtual auction. So that was tremendous. And then we have additional golf outings that we had to put on this year. We were supposed to do one last May, got canceled, so we did one in October and another one in May. So the wonderful folks at Bonita Bay and also at Old Corkscrew golf courses and the participants working underneath Matt Ring and Doc Ryan and Graham and everybody did a wonderful job. And between that and then we had our usual, we can't call it a raffle because you can't do raffles in Florida, but we have a drawing, and this year it was for a nice opportunity to go to the Ryder Cup, and we raised some additional dollars there. Collectively speaking, that group raised, including memberships to the E.A.G.L.E Club, somewhat in the neighborhood of $1.2 million. Now, it was 1.5 a year ago, but we understood a lot of folks weren't coming to basketball games and didn't have some of their memberships. But those are dollars that we do not in any way take for granted. And again, it's an opportunity for us to continue to build until our alumni get older.
And I know that we have mentioned this lady before, and many times because she's been very generous along with her late husband. But what Donna Sublett and the Sublett family did for FGCU in the last 12 months, it was not only a nice gesture, it was something that the athletic department desperately needed.
long overdue. And Jim, it's just a shame. He was there with us in spirit, and Donna, what they've done to help us well before their tremendous donation for the Sublett Family Strength and Conditioning Center. It was a milestone day in the history of our athletic department when we had the ribbon cutting ceremony finally to do that during the course of the early fall. We were able to take over a complex that we've shared for all these years. Thankfully, the university has the beautiful student fitness wellness center, and now we have this capability to not only functionally to every day get better without having to look at different times. We're able to reconfigure the room to do it more efficiently, but the other big part is we can take recruits there. In the past, we didn't take recruits unless the room was closed, because you had a lot of explaining to do why so-and-so that looked like me was over there lifting weights. So it really is something that through the generosity of the Subletts to have that center now available, it's certainly been one of the most uplifting parts of the year.
During the pandemic, charities suffered, like many people and many businesses suffered. And yet FGCU has always had community service and trying to help charities as part of its charter. And I was surprised to find out that the pandemic did not slow the athletic department down when it came to community service.
Well, it starts with Dr. McTarnigan, and when he, as a founding president of the university, brought the expectation that in order to graduate, you need to do X hours of learning, documented community service learning hours. And we just take that on ourselves. Now, our student athletes have to do that as part of being a general student, but we've taken it step further. We have each team is required to do at least one community service project outside of their sport that it needs to involve at least 90% of their team. It was much more difficult to do that this year because some of the normal things we do, they weren't even open. And so, we still work through some of those events. In particular, later in the year, we're able to do some things in person. We're able to do some things virtually. And, collectively, we didn't hit what we normally, and we usually use 5,000 to 6,000 as our benchmark. This year, we got a little over 4,000, but, considering everything else, it was one, a heartwarming way to give back to a community that gives us in so many fashions. And in two, it's just, again, another reminder of how blessed we are for our student athletes to have the God-given talents that they have, and there's so many other people in the community on a daily basis struggle. And one final tip of the hat before we look ahead to the fall of 2021 with the E.A.G.L.E Leadership Institute. That was a new initiative for us. One of the things that we really centered on over the last year or so is that we have some outstanding leaders, but some of them just don't know how to lead beyond just leading by example. And there's times, as we all know, you have to step up and say something or do something or hold somebody accountable, and it can't always be the coaches or the administration. It needs to be done in a social setting, or it needs to be done in the locker room, or even on the court. Somebody needs to step up to somebody else, and it's much more effective coming from one of your peers than it is from somebody else who's considered basically your supervisor. So we started an E.A.G.L.E Leadership Institute. It stands for E.A.G.L.E Athletics Generating Lifetime Excellence, or Lifetime Leaders. And with it, we had 12 individuals that got involved with us on a monthly basis. They had some assignments throughout the year. We were very blessed with some tremendous folks across campus. Dr. Chris Blakely and Travel Oaks from our University Dean of Students office and leadership area. Dr. Tom Roberts, our faculty athletic representative. John Roth, who is an adjunct professor. Those individuals, plus even Jesse Cormier, our head men's soccer coach, got together working with Kathy Peterson and Maggie Hone in our internal administration. And I really was proud of what we did. I think in turn, it was best that the word of mouth from those student athletes who took on the last session of the year have incorporated thoughts for younger members of our athletic population looking forward to being part of the second class.